Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles, the dogs, the weather, the attitudes, my voice, the pond. Good Friday morning there for all those that tune into my channel. My voice sounds terrible this morning. I don't know what's going on. I talk too much. But as always, thank you so much for those that participate in my channel and listen to me yabba dabba do as I lose my voice. What's that all about? It's early, and I'm just getting going. I got my iced coffee with my Yukon Outfitters Yeti look-alike cup here, and as you walk over to the barns, we do every day. It's kind of the same routine that I walk from the house to the barn to get my steps in. I'm getting my steps in. What a beautiful day as far as the weather, temperature-wise. Not so much the overcast look, but as far as the just as far as the temperature, it's so nice out. I got a short sleeve shirt, you can tell, and it's just really nice. I guess the winter really never came to be. Just incredible. It's changing. I remember reading years ago that this area would in so many ways one day be more like Florida. I can actually say yes. Oh, the challenges of the Iceman with the barn and the birds, and how do I handle that? And I get my oh my gosh, it just gets the day going. And once again, my voice just sounds terrible. I don't know, maybe it's from all that smoke from that fire yesterday, and thank goodness that never showed up. Or maybe it says I'm smoking myself out with this this little pellet stove, which I'm trying to be creative. But here's the thing, I didn't see any birds fly out of this barn. And usually when I start walking the barn and I hit the gate opener, I should say the barn opener, you see birds fly out. Now, if you look inside here, this truck should have poop all over it. And there it is. There's one spot. There's two. I cleaned it last night. So, have the birds totally left? I don't know. Probably not. But the bunch of them, it isn't just this one bird. I mean, it's all types of birds. I get the whole, array of birds in my shop. And there's the girls and the boy and the girl that want to get in the office. And there's the troublemaker Kiefer dog that wants to harass everybody, as usually. So the challenges. What's really interesting? I would think I would have made a video called Challenges. And upon my own research, I don't think I did. So today's conversation, from the doubt conversations, the crying conversations, oh, I did it wrong. Come on, get up here. Come on, Jigger, come on. Come on, Tango. So this is going to be a problem. No, Kiefer, leave her alone. Come on, Tango, get up here. Yeah, so get up here. Yeah, great, right? Where's that all going? We know. So, anyways, the crying conversations yesterday, the doubt conversations, what was the whole week, the knowledge? I can't even keep track of my own freaking content. All right, guys, just whatever. Just hope for the best. Anyways, so today's theme is the challenges. And my John Deere tractor, my 3046 brand new tractor I bought, is being delivered today. What an exciting Friday and weekend for the Iceman, because not only do I have a nice brand new tractor coming, I have a Corvette Z06 coming. Oh my gosh. Wow. The challenges, right? Yeah, Mr. Iceman, you got serious challenges. Your challenge is you can't stay out of a car dealership, tractor dealership, motorcycle dealership. Your challenge in life is how many days can you go before you have to go buy something? I know, I hear you. Right. I don't disagree. I don't disagree whatsoever. Challenge my whole life is to go out and buy a car. And then, years ago, I didn't have the money to do it, but years ago, 6 months, a year later, I wanted something different. But there's a lot of people out there like that. I mean, I talk to car salespeople, and they're like, yeah, man, we have people that buy a car, and 6 months later, they give it back, get a different car. Now, they don't have people like me. Look at the trees. As you know, the spring is here upon us, and it's such a cool transition time of year, but it just trashes everything. The pollen, whatever you want to call it, pollen. Look at the trees. They're all just right in front of our eyes, watching my channel, changing, and the grass is growing. And today, with a decent amount of rain, that's going to even help it more. Yesterday, if you watch my channel, I did some shorties, and I cleaned the F-250 Tremor truck, and I cleaned the Ford Raptor 37 for the first time. I never gave that thing a bath. That's just crazy. And they still haven't gotten my my official tags. And the reason is the odometer statement got screwed up. Yes. So that truck there, when did I buy that truck? Back like in January? December? I mean, geez, I just tell you what. Just trying to keep track. I just can't believe that we're already middle of March and we're going to be in April. Wow. I mean, wow. So you're probably looking at the arrangement of the cars. Well, the way the birds fly, they come out of this barn and they crap on everything. That's one reason that I cleaned that truck yesterday. It had bird crap all over it. And then even the other... Anyways, the whole point is right now, to try to manage keeping these cars clean, it's a challenge. You know how much work it is? Some would say, take the car wash. Yeah, well, I've done that too. But there's just some cars that I'd rather put more attention and detail. But with a kid helping out, that makes that challenge, because that's a constant challenge. But I don't know. So it's going to be very interesting to see if my smoker thing really plays out and keeps the pigeons. It's the pigeons that move in. So the smaller birds, they're a problem, but it's those big-ass pigeons. When they get in this barn, they start roosting. Oh, my gosh. It is so bad. So the glimmer of hope, without burning my barn down, which I manage it. I mean, I'm not going to leave that thing just burn all night long. Out here, there's no way to ever do that. So I can, and it's very easy to move it, and it's the pellets. So it's a very clean... It isn't the soot. It isn't like having firewood in my barn. So it's a more cleaner type of burning. If you see these pellets there. So it's cleaner burning. So you don't get all that soot like I'm sure some people like, oh man, you're just going to be sooting your garage day in, day out. No, I'm not. In all sincereness, I haven't put a blower out. So if you look at my garage, and I cleaned this truck last night, and this truck was sitting here when the whole smoking was going on, and you don't really see, per se, any film on the truck. So, and these things here, this is just the regular dirt and dust. It's just, this shop has so much air pockets. It's not a sealed barn. So like the pollen, once the pollen starts to set in, this whole shop is just coated. It's always the challenges. That's what we have. Every one of us here has challenges. That's life, and how do you handle them? And that's what I got to thinking to myself this morning was the challenges that we all have, and each person has a different perspective of what the biggest challenge to them is, especially at the age. You know, because as you transition, as you evolve in life, different challenges, come to head as you grow up and you get things going in life. So I got to think to myself this morning, it's very interesting that we live in 4 different generations. And I don't know if that's really the correct way to term it or not, but you think about who's the most dominant population in our country, age-wise, born-wise. And you'd have to say it's the baby boomers, which that's after the war. You have to say it's the Generation X, which that's back in the, I guess, the 80s through the early 90s. And then you go to I guess, the late 90s. Then you go to the millennials, which is the 2000 year and on, which is hard to believe because of the, we're 2024. Wow. And then you talk about the Generation Z, which is my daughter. So you just kind of step back and say to yourself, wow, right now in our country, we have 4 major different age groups of years of people born that are probably the most active at one time in our country in population. And trying to get all those different years of us being born at different times, how we all kind of look at things and come to agreement on things is posing lots of challenges. Because I think our challenge, think about this. What is like the number one challenge? And overall, if you kind of think about where we are and the constant media talk, and especially this city administration, which is one reason I created the Ice Age TV name, for those that watch my channel or just kind of started watching it, the reason I started my channel called Ice Age is because it stands for the internal combustion engine. And so that's what we have. And the thing is, what is going on is we have a challenge of us being able to keep this. It's a serious challenge. We have a huge movement in the world. If you really watch my channel, you're real subscribers and watching me for quite a while now, you know it's the constant content of me talking about the electric vehicles and the green agenda. So if you kind of just step back and look at what's going on, the biggest challenge that we're being told more than ever in our lifetime, and this is all the baby boomers, the Generation X, the millennials, the Generation Z. What are you being told? You're being told that this climate is in dire need of help, that mankind has a serious challenge because it's ruining Mother Earth. And the biggest contributing factor that the green agenda activists truly believe is it's these ICE vehicles. And that's the challenge that we have in front of us, as so many of us don't want to let go of what we have. It's huge. It's a huge challenge. It's kind of to me like you give a little baby a bottle, baby formula, and the baby, lives off that baby formula, and then you try to take it away from it. And it's going to cry. It's not going to be happy. Well, that's what's going on more than ever in today's society is we grew up with the baby bottles, which is the ICE engines. It may sound kind of stupid as an example, but for all of us that are the baby boomers, and even prior to them, and the Generation X, millennials, we've been given the ICE. And this is something that so many of us just truly love and have a compassion for, but now we're being told that we can't have this. And it's creating a challenge because you have the believers and you have the non-believers. And so, as I said, this sitting administration that is right now running the country, it's, for the most part, has trillions of dollars. I mean, it's trillions of dollars that are being given to the industry to change the way we live, to change our habits. And it's a huge challenge for the green agenda to convince so many that they have the solution on how to take the challenge on Mother Nature Earth being harmed by all these ICE vehicles. And that's the number one issue, is how does mankind transition away from the baby bottle to the new way of getting around, which, as we know, is for the most part the electric vehicle. Sure, there's hydrogen, there's lots of different things, and then you go to the wind power, there's solar panels, the renewable energies. You start going into all the talk, the ESG, economic, social governance. You start all these new words. It's as if once this administration came to power, it's like all these new words have seen to kind of come into our life. And it's a huge challenge. And that's why I think that having the different age groups, for all of us to kind of be able to come together to agree on what seems to make sense and what makes truth, which in other ways is so false and lies. How do we take the challenge? How do we get through this challenge? And that's it's going to be a huge thing this year of the election year that's on our doorstep is, what is the challenge? What is this country truly, what is the real challenge? But I step back and think, we have a humanitarian crisis. It's a worldwide problem. Our own country, I mean, sincerely, what is the most challenging thing right now in our country? It's the immigration challenges. It's immigration that it's always been a challenge, but if you read the news and you believe the news, it's at the highest level of immigration challenges of people coming to our country that have been challenged where they live, and they come here hoping that there's a better life for them, better opportunity for them. But the challenge for us is how we handle that as far as us being good people to try to help others, which in so many ways, what's the old saying? No good deed goes unpunished. I mean, sincerely. I mean, who doesn't know that story? I mean, I can tell you story after story in my life of people I know, my own experiences of no good deed goes unpunished. Because us as humans, you have a challenge. When you see somebody that needs help, if you're a compassionate person, you want to help them. But you know at the same time that there's a fine line of helping somebody versus that individual just isn't really helping themselves. And that's what I think that more than ever is just not being talked about. Is so many people are looking for the handout because it's the easier path than actually them having to try to help themselves better. And so it's always easier for the handout because you don't have to go through the challenges to get through what you want, and it may be too challenging. And it's just like for me, I can tell you stories after stories. I guarantee you about every subscriber on my channel can tell stories of challenges that they had to overcome. And I'm sure there'll be people that tell stories that the challenges they couldn't overcome. And that's and so the challenges, if you think about it, this administration's main focal point is really the environment. It's all about what's going on up above us to help save us here. But at the same time, I'm sure so many think it's like, yeah, but man, the challenges, sadly, for us U.S. citizens, is we have new powers to be that are creating policies that make it much more challenging for the social welfare of our country. I mean, when you hear that Pittsburgh has announced that the police are no longer going to take any calls from 3 a.m. to like 7 a.m. or something like that. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing you could ever imagine to hear, that Pittsburgh has announced that they're no longer going to police their cities and towns from 3 a.m. to like 7 a.m. So if you're a robber, you're a criminal, what has that just told you? When's the best time to go rob somebody? 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. How do you feel about that? So for the Pittsburgh police, the challenges of their infrastructure for policing their own town, you'd have to say in some ways they have just given up. I mean, would you have to agree with that? I mean, I'm in an industry where I've been stolen from, vandalized, and what people don't know is this. Here's a little dirty secret. Robbers like to rob things at nighttime when it's raining. Did you hear what I just said? Robbers love to steal things when it's raining. Why? Because there's a lot of noise. There's my daughter over there looking out the window. And they like to take advantage of the rain, that they can do things because you as an individual, you hear the rain. So if they're making a noise outside, it'll be much more challenging for you to hear them because of the rain. So that is one little trick that that criminals use. Here's another story on Facebook. If you watch my channel, you'll hear a story about some guy reaching out to me on X saying he's Elon Musk, want me to invest in his future next great thing, which I think Elon Musk has some cryptocurrency thing going. So was that guy real? Was that guy really going to take my money? And I was going to be the first to have the cryptocurrency when I think Elon Musk is working on that. Somebody could probably correct me on that. But here's a challenge. Here's on Facebook, the likes of Peter Lynch, Kathy Wood, Steve Cohen, Fisher Investments. You have all these different investment companies that advertise all the time on the big medias and social media. And apparently on Facebook, there's a big, huge scam of people are getting scammed from fake investment companies that portray themselves to be Kathy Wood, or Steve Cohen, or another one. I'm not the investment guy, the Fisher. So it's real. People literally are giving people money Oh, there go the birds. So there was just a bunch of birds just flew out of the barn. But which bird was that? That didn't look like the pigeons, was it? Huh. They sound like them. Which one were they? I don't know. You get the barn birds that'll never, I think it's the small ones. It's the pigeons that are the worst. Little ones, yeah, they're a pain in the ass, but the pigeons, they are the worst, man. I mean, you ever seen the size of what they do? Oh my gosh, it is just bad. So anyways, so in Facebook, the challenge of Facebook right now is they can't control the fake accounts of people portraying to be major investment firms that are reaching out to people on Facebook that convince them to buy these penny stocks, and even to the point that they convince people to go to the Hong Kong stock market, and people here in this country will buy up penny stocks and they'll see some return to money, and then they play the game. The scammers play the game to show them how they can make such big returns with their investments that they tell them to pick. Then once you get comfortable, then they put the big money into the penny stock that artificially inflates it, and then they cash out of it. And then the guy that put $45,000 into a penny stock now has no dollars. And there's even a true story of a couple out of Nashville, Tennessee, that ended up losing $1.1 million on penny stocks from these so-called investors that were portraying that they were the Cathie Wood, they were a broker that worked for Cathie Wood, and they were advising them how to pick stocks. So anybody out there that's got the monies to go invest in stocks and you're being hit up to buy penny stocks, the penny stocks want to go after because they create these fraudulent so-called penny stock values that drives up penny stocks to be something of great value, but you really are just buying your own money and rewarding somebody else because of how you helped inflate the penny stock. Somebody out there that gets reached out from any of these social media, especially Facebook, it's a huge problem. And Facebook knows about it, and for the most part, it's just about impossible to constantly be able to remove these fake accounts. So I thought that was a pretty good story. So that's a huge challenge. Here's the next challenge. TikTok, who is owned by ByteDance, B-Y-T-E Dance, out of Beijing, China, everybody knows. Right now, that's a huge challenge for TikTok to be stateside. And what's really going on, if you kind of really read what's going on, it's about China. China feels like, so here's what's going on. I'm sure most people do know what's going on, but it's just an overview. For the TikTok, this country feels like Beijing, China's government, is taking all the data information of 170 million active TikTok users in this country. It's one of TikTok's most lucrative parts of the world that makes money off of this, per se, even though they claim they don't make any money. I don't know. That's all more. But anyways, so this country's position is Beijing is undermining our own country through all the information they're gaining from everybody's accounts. And their position is that's not factual. But China governs that business. So with this country, Donald Trump was the first one to say that it should be bought out. It should be sold stateside and keep the technology. Well, China's saying, no, that ain't happening. You're not taking our proprietary technology for your benefit. So we're not going to do that. So it's coming to be a head-to-head battle with China and the U.S., not so much ByteDance. And ByteDance is kind of staying neutral because they have to kind of abide by China's laws and rules. So even though you have people pound their fists here to say, let's just take TikTok to domestic side ownership and we can keep it up and going, or you got to shut it down. And China's position is, and then it has to be shut down. So those people who are TikTok people, the China's position is that they're not going to let that be sold. And if it's to be sold, then their position is then it has to be shut down, and they'll support our country shutting down TikTok. So wow, isn't that something? Here's the Camaro, but here's the thing. So here's breaking news. Now the guys at Dulles Dodge, I wish I had that video from last week when I went up to the dealership and I got my Camaro inspected and I drove the car around and I got the exhaust put on it and I had Max and Cheese do the back end exhaust. I gotta go by there and get my muffler, but it's all It's all secured. I'm not, no challenge. I mean, being worried about that. He'll take care of my stuff. And so I test drove a nice Ram TRX truck that's the gray color. And I just, walked away as usual. Like, yeah, it's a cool truck. It's a cool truck. But if anyone watches my video and watches me drive the Raptor 37R or the Raptor R, oh my gosh. I mean, that thing was just like, wow, wow, wow. So now my selling dealer yesterday calls me and goes, hey, man, come on. Why don't you get that TRX? I'm like, well, the numbers, your guys' numbers, the car's values suck. The market has crashed. So they're like, no, man, we can do better. We can do better. I'm like, oh, really? They're like, yeah. So they've come back and they've raised the price on my Wagoneer from 57 to 62 grand. They've taken my Challenger from 65 to like 72. I'm like, yeah, but it's still, I'm just like, yeah, but it's still, the numbers just suck. And they're really like, oh, come on, man, you should buy. I'm like, you know what? I don't know how you're gonna pull the deal off, but you know what? If you want to go play at the banks and see if they'll do a deal, and you guys want to get aggressive on that TRX truck, you can do that. Go for it. I mean, sincerely, go for it. Now, couldn't have you just can't. I mean, I say this all the time, but it's all about the financial institutions I deal with. And I have relationships with some banks that just go the extra mile for me. Then I have other relationships that just nothing comes from it. So, yeah, does that play out? But here's the thing, and I've said this many times, when the Ram TRX came out and then the Raptor R was being made, and I talked about this. You go back to my channel, you could buy a brand new Ram TRX for the 80s, high 70s, even 80s, and then 90s. But a Ford Raptor R, out of the gate was $111,000 to $120,000 truck. So I was saying a few years ago, I mean, for the fun factor, bang for the buck, you'd have to say that if you can save yourself $30,000 and get a 700 horsepower truck, I think the Ram TRX would be the better thing. But here's the problem. Ram got greedy. So now the new TRXs are $120,000, $130,000. Look it up. Look it up. That's the suggested retail. It's no ADM. No ADM. Ridiculous. Why did Ram do that? Because they saw their dealers getting away with marking everything up. That's why they did that. But the point is, if you want to buy a brand new Ram TRX, you're at $120, $130. So, but you want to buy the Raptor R, it's $120 plus. I just saw how Ted Britt Ford just lowered their price on that Raptor R. And part of me says, I should just drive this truck over there. But here's the thing. It's so much more money. You're talking $40,000 more for me just to get out of this, to have a V8. So part of me's like, wouldn't it be cool just to have the Raptor 37 and then have a Ram TRX? I don't know. I mean, once again, to really pull off the Raptor R, I'd have to give up at least 2 vehicles. I'd have to. There's just no way I could justify it otherwise. It's just too much money. So, and then I think to myself, yeah, but I got such a great collection of cars right now. Why do I really want to do that? And then the next thing is the wife would be pissed. I mean, I don't blame her. If we got rid of that Wagoneer down there, my wife's going to be like, what am I going to drive? I like the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Yeah. No, wait. My wife loves that Grand Wagoneer. It has massaging seats. It's such a great, it gets 20 plus miles per gallon. And she uses that car a lot. So if I was to trade that for the Ram TRX, my wife's going to be so pissed. But here's the danger. For me, when she sees the tractor get delivered today, she doesn't even really know about that. Well, she does. I should take that back. She does know about that. I did tell her. I can't keep track, but I told the wife. Can you even believe that one? The challenges of being married to the Iceman. My wife will tell you straight up, I have no idea what he just bought. I have no idea what he has. Yes, my wife has witnessed this whole lot change brands. Yeah. So anyway, so if I did that, the wife would be like, oh my gosh. She'd be like, what am I going to drive? What am I going to drive besides my Grand Cherokee? So here's the Raptor. So here's the thing. I mean, for me, to make it all make sense, yeah, I mean, give up that 37 Raptor for the Raptor R and give up the Tremor truck for the Raptor R. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But the problem is, it's the amount of money that I'm having to go Who knows? Challenges. Here's the thing. Could you imagine how Ram TR still played out? I mean, that's one of those things where I just have this gut feeling like, yeah, I'll be eating my words to that. But I don't think it'll go down. But who the hell? It's a good-looking truck, actually. That's the danger. It's a good-looking truck, but it doesn't have that same just incredible, potent feel like the Raptor R does. What is that all about? I mean, it's incredible how much more fun that Raptor R is. As we get up here in the office to kind of keep the morning going, and the tractor will be delivered here about 10 a.m., so that'll be pretty cool. And does it start raining? And now here's the next thing. Here's the motorcycles. Kind of backtracking here. Here's all the motorcycles in which I need to get these things out. I need to ride the Honda Goldwing. I so badly. What's my challenge? Yeah, what's my challenge? What do I drive today? And some people reach on my channel and they're like, you should just sell this car and that car. And they'll be like, you haven't driven that Super B in ages or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, right, I know. But a lot of things goes on is just depends on my work schedule. I have to work out of these trucks most of the time. So I was down in Florida for over 3 weeks. So there's a lot of things that kind of play out. And I know some people watch my channel like, yeah, but I see some of these vehicles you have, they've been sitting for months. And yes, you're right. They have been. This car only has like 170 miles on it. Yeah, right. Wow. Think that through. Kid loves, I think it's very interesting for my daughter. When she goes to the gym, we get back in from driving 150, 200-mile days. I'm talking to each one of us and our trucks and everything else. I think it's so interesting. What does a kid grab? She grabs this Mustang that's very loud, and it's got the manual transmission. It's so interactive. She didn't drive that. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't drive that car. Even though she says she loves it, but she doesn't drive it. I don't know. It's interesting, but what about you, Iceman? What are you going to drive? So the F450, I drove that home. I haven't driven it since. So now you're going not this past Monday, but a week ago, the other Monday, parked it, and that's it. Need to clean that. It's always a project, but then all the motorcycles are still all strapped down in the trailer. So, but I got a whole project. With the Corvette coming, remember, got a Corvette coming, I literally need to clean this whole end of this shop up. This is my challenge. It's space. The space here, I need to get all this area freed up so that I can park the Corvette here. I really don't want, the Corvette's not going to sit outside. It's got one of those convertible tops. I think the worst you can do with a convertible is park it outside. All right, let's get upstairs and continue the challenge conversations, right? Come on, let's go. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Stop it. Just get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey. Come on, Keith. Looky here. Here's your little toy. Wow. You can still smell the smoke from yesterday's fire. Not mine. I was in the office yesterday. I was in the office here, and wow, that smoke coming off that mountain. Anybody here watching my channel didn't watch kind of all the updates, but so yesterday, apparently, a guy has an RV camper up on the mountain next to his house, and he was charging, I mean, I don't know, my good friend Joe, who used to work for me, he's still my great friend, he called me late yesterday and said they got the fire contained to 90%. He said about 100 acres burned, but he said apparently a guy with an RV had a lithium battery plugged in for his blower, and the lithium battery caught on fire in his RV. So his RV caught on fire, and that's what started the whole fire. Joe's like, he's like, I've gotten rid of all my battery stuff. He's like, you know that stuff you gave me? He's like, you know, the chainsaw and the blower and weed whacker. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got rid of all of it. He's like, I don't trust this stuff, man. He's like, I'm done with that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I'm sure you hear people watch my channel and see me plug that Ford Lightning truck in. People are more concerned about me burning the barn down with that pellet stove that I manage and watch when I'm out here versus plugging in the freaking Lightning truck. And it takes sometimes 15, 16, 17 hours to charge it. I mean, sincerely, what's the odds of which creates the fire first? Yeah, I hear you. So anyways, that was the gist of what happened yesterday. And Joe was telling me, he's like, he was so weird. He's up on the hill, and that fire was right there on his doorstep. But yesterday, the winds were more of I guess, a southwestern wind. So the way the wind was blowing, it was blowing things away from his property. Thank goodness. So if it had been more of a northeasterly wind yesterday, it could have been a whole different story where it kind of got into some people's homes. So nobody lost their homes. It was more about open woods and the deforestation of what years ago of the fire companies and of setting up or cleaning up the woods. All that stuff's kind of gone away. Then my pond here, the tanker truck couldn't get to the pond because he didn't have a long enough hose. So he had 20 foot of hose. If he had 100 foot of hose, he probably could have got there. But I get the thing this morning. The fire department here, that's only about a mile from my house, they actually came out here like 4 or 5 years ago looking at putting in a live line out to the road for my pond. And I thought, you know what, I should call them, because yesterday that was the biggest challenge for those guys, was finding a local pond to get access to be able to get water to refill those tankers. Remember, I'm in a rural area. We don't have city water. So if there's a major fire, you're talking about tanker trucks, the good old days where you have to bring in water to be able to put out the fire. So, and there's another place I think across the way here, but it's a few miles away. Didn't even think about that. Wonder why they didn't maybe go down there, but I don't know. But anyways, I got to thinking, hell, I should tell the guys just run a pipe into my pond out of the main road with a fire hydrant, and there you go. You got quick, hookup access to getting water out of my pond without getting your truck stuck. So that's challenging. That's a very challenging thing. And I saw some firefighters, you definitely can see kind of the look in their face with, the concern. I mean, anybody knows, you get into a forest fire. I mean, sadly, there's a lot of stories that people didn't come out of those forest fires. I mean, it gets bad. So what else is kind of going on in the world of our challenges? What is our biggest challenges? But going back to the different, the baby boomers, the Generation X, the millennials, the Generation Zs. But what's interesting is the Generation Zs, they really have much more of they're just more kind of, they don't just trust the politicians, like who does anyways, but they're expressing a lot of aggravation. The Generation Zs, especially the ones that were in high school or even college, they lost those last few years. Like my daughter will tell you, she lost the last 2 years of her interaction of high school because she was sent home for the pandemic. And everybody knows these stories. So the Generation Zs, they're much more talking about how they feel like they had a separation of friendship and socialization that's impacting them in their eyes more so because of they were all isolated from isolation. And so, and they kind of have they don't have as much of an upbeat outlook of the well-being in the future for themselves or for the country. And that's what I was saying. We just talked about earlier when I started the conversation. It's a challenge. We have all these different age groups, and with now the social media, and that's what it's also talked about, which my daughter is the same way. My daughter never watches TV. All these Generation Z people, they don't watch TV. They're looking at their devices. So all these younger people that are coming into adulthood and are coming in to replace the people that did the work and carried the weight, they're all non-TV watching people. They're all social media people. And what type of influence has social media put on people? I mean, if you go on to X, the propaganda machine on X for like the likes of Joe Biden, it's beyond believable. There are so many X posters that just post all day long. I mean, you have to wonder what these people actually do. I mean, these are people that spend all day long on X. And I only go on X every now and then just to kind of see what's kind of going on, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. But when I do, I see the same personalities that have posted, 50, 20, 30, 40, 50 posts in a day of just content that's constantly belittling conservatives and constantly praising liberals and constantly praising Joe Biden being the best thing ever this country's ever had. In the direction of this country is the best thing it's ever had. And the list goes on and on and on. And so you just think if you're a young person and you really go to X and you start looking for content, you're going to really truly believe that Joe Biden is the answer and is the best thing that's ever happened in this country. And don't get me wrong, I might hear to take sides with Trump, not here to take sides with Biden. I'm not really here to do that. What I'm here to do is just share with you as an individual, you have to step back and just look at what are the challenges, what are our challenges? And right now, I think most people would have to say that the challenge in our country, even though this administration's constant focus is the green agenda, I think most people would be like, the challenge right now is getting a handle on society to make it safe, to make it more stable, to get things that we come together more as a country to work together instead against each other. But that's what all this social media is doing. It's separating us and it's driving us apart from one another because you have just a select few people that just constantly run their mouth that are the propaganda masters. They're truly the propaganda people trying to convince people to believe what they believe, which, you know, there's got to be something behind the gig that's enriching them to do this. And what it is on X, you get paid. If you're a creator on X and you can create enough content and you can get people to respond negatively and positively to your content, you can make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're making, you can guarantee you, these individuals are making a ton of money of all this constant rhetoric that in so many ways is, you know, it's the love-hate content on X. And with Elon Musk, he doesn't hold back. Elon Musk, he gets on there and he makes some pretty bold statements. And so at the end of the day, you just wonder when the powers that be try to manhandle him. So anyways, that's kind of it. The challenge is just thought I'd once again give another week of what was, you know, even for me, just all the freaking content, all my morning conversations and what I kind of come up with and talk about. And so the week in review, what did we do? So what did we actually do? The loser conversations, the yesterday conversations, we had the knowledge conversations, the doubt conversations, the win conversation. So this week, I think it was knowledge, doubt. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So this week we started off with the knowledge conversation. Then we had the doubt conversation. Then we had the win conversations. Then we had the crying conversations. And now we have the challenge conversations. And what I think to myself is, if you go back 100 years ago and look at what happened back in the 30s, not the 20s, but back in the 30s after the Great Depression, and you know, you have to stop. You say to yourself, the stock market. I mean, stop and think about this. The Roaring 20s. Does anybody remember that saying? We're in the Roaring 20s right now in so many ways. But what was the end result? Would that be incredible if we had the same scenario play out 100 years later of the biggest stock market crash that mankind's seen in 100 years? Wow. I mean, sincerely, I just kind of thought of that because you go to the 30s, it was the Great Depression. That's when my mother and father were born. They witnessed that as little kids. I mean, they're so young, but they were in that era of being brought into this physical world. And that's why you see a little different attitude for the people who were brought up in that era. The 30s and 40s, you know, the wars, they saw much more hardships. We haven't really seen that. And that's the challenge that we have in our country, that so many think that it'll just never change. It'll always be great and it'll be war. Some will say, no, it hasn't been great. When will it change? Yeah, I get that all day long. But the point being is, what's the challenge? The challenge for us is how we come to feel like what really is the truth. You know, what is the truth versus the lies? And I think for younger people, it's extremely challenging because you're having so much information thrown at you that can persuade you to look at things that really just aren't the right way to look at things. So anyways, that's it. What's going to play out? I'm going to get my tractor today. I'm definitely going to do a Sunday Chevrolet Corvette Carvana reveal and delivery. That'll be cool. Sunday morning, I have to get out of bed early because they're coming here between 8 and 11 a.m. I chose that time. And apparently the Corvette is like at the Carvana location getting all finalized to bring it to me, to let me check it out and drive and see if I like it. And then all of a sudden, does the Ram TRX thing play out? I think it's the wrong decision. I mean, I just think that's not. The Raptor R is a better decision, but it's so much more money. The Ram TRX, that's within a hand's reach. I'm buying that. and it making sense on paying for it. The Raptor R, that's a lot of money, man. I mean, that's just, you get into $128, remember you got to pay taxes. You're $130,000. You even put 20 grand down. You're going to have a $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month car payment. You ask me how I know these things. That's huge. Yeah, the challenge for me, right? Yeah, challenge for me is keeping all my cars and paying for them. Yes, but I enjoy challenges. That's who I am. I love challenges. That's just who I am. So, anyways, that's it. As always, ask for an Ice Age TV sticker to share the channel. One day, these internal combustion engines may not be around one day. It's hard to believe, but where we're going in today's life and society, I didn't even talk about the science mom. The science moms, maybe I'll be on every day, but Ice Age TV, comments at gmail.com. I'll mail you a sticker or two, whatever, I got plenty of them, but hopefully you can put this on something that makes you think of the channel, and hopefully I bring content that helps you and helps all of us just to kind of look at things, and we can all come to closure. We're kind of on the same page. That's kind of the goal, right? Let's try to work together, not against each other. So once again, ask for a sticker. Share the channel. Share the channel with other people you know, and hopefully it can be just a little different content. And it's long videos in the morning, but if you're driving to work or you're just doing something where you just have a little time to have peace to your own self, I think this is a great channel. And here comes the kid. Here comes the kid showing up to work. Let's see how she looks this morning, right? Is she going to make it up the stairs? There she is. She's going to go to yoga.
Hot yoga.
Hot yoga. What's hot yoga?
It's like this thing where you do yoga in a really hot room, like a sauna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How many people participate in that?
I don't know. I've never been.
Wow.
I would say probably like 5 to 10.
I was going to say, how big is a sauna?
Like, it's not a sauna. It's like a room that has that in it.
Yeah, it's heated up. So it makes you more flexible.
I don't know. It's just like supposed to get the bad toxins out of your body.
Oh, okay. What about bad thoughts?
Yeah.
Good. Are you Generation Z?
I don't.
Yeah, you are.
No, I don't identify with them.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Wow. Which generation do you...
I identify as a millennial.
Oh, okay. Really? Wow.
I like that generation better.
Oh, my gosh. You're hearing this? Generation Z is getting called out.
I do not like Gen Z.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. You hearing this? Wow.
I identify as a millennial.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Wow. Hey, Gen Z, don't take it too personal. Yikes, right? Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching my channel. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe.